Hi everyone, it's Krista and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new, hi again. So this is my channel. I love to do all types of DIYs on a budget. I love to do thrift flips. I also love to do wreaths. So if you like what you see here, you know what to do. Hit that red subscribe button. I would love to have you join our little family, and I'd love to hear what you think, so leave me a comment below and give me a thumbs up. That helps my channel. You can also find me on Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok. And also I have a wreath shop. It's called Krista's Wreath Designs. It is an Etsy shop. I will have all those links down below. Today is all about 5 under $5, and our hosts are Missy from Crafty Cove, Emily from Farm Charm Chic, and Robin as our co-host. So first, on to DIY number 1. I will get into more of that in a minute. So the first thing I am going to do is take some fabric from the Dollar Tree, also some of those little beads, rounded beads on a vine, some of these picks, leftover picks, these stickers I've had like forever, and some green moss. I'm also going to use some paint and some of this polyfill that I've already had. So the first thing we'll do is I'm going to take this orange check buffalo print, buffalo plaid, I should say, print. And I'm going to use that little circular, it was my speaker that I use in my room, and that was the perfect circle size that I needed. Then I'm going to do another one a little bit larger on this next piece of fabric. And all this fabric is from the Dollar Tree. And I cut out 2 pieces of each. Then I'm going to use this piece of burlap that I had in my stash, and I'm going to make 2 circles with that as well and cut those 2 out. Now I made 4 of the burlap to each of the fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just glue around the edges of the 2 pieces first, and I'm going to leave a little opening because that is where we're going to fill it with some of the polyfill. Now, I got this little idea from Pinterest. I thought it was so cute and so rustic, so my type of style. So the next one I did with the other fabric, same thing, and I leave a little opening in the end to be able to fill in some of that stuffing. These are so easy to do, yet so cute. So now the only reason why I did 4 pieces of the burlap is because I first glued 2 pieces together completely. I didn't leave a hole open. And then I took those 2 pieces and glued them with each other and left an opening because I didn't want you to be able to see the inside stuffing. And because there's a lot of holes in poly burlap, you gotta, make sure you hide those up. So that's what I did there. So then what I did is I just used my fingers or my little pencil there to stuff them. I'm not trying to make it look like an exact round as a pumpkin. I'm trying to make it look a little rustic. So this is why the edges are a little frayed. It's okay if there's a piece of string sticking out. I wanted them to look that way. I'm going for the rustic look here. And then I filled my burlap with that as well. And then the last piece of fabric, I filled that one as well. And you fill them as much as you want. I filled mine just enough where I could stack them on top of each other without, worry about it falling over and things like that. So once I got those all filled, then what we're going to do is we're going to glue them all together. So I just seal them shut with the rest of the hot glue, and now we're going to stack them like that. So we're kind of making a stackable pumpkin. So now what I wanted is I wanted to make my own little tag for the side because I wanted it to be really rustic. So I just took one of these popsicle sticks, and I just cut it to the size I wanted. Then I painted it with my plaster paint, Waverly plaster paint, and now I'm just doing the edges with this other paint. This is called Rusted Pipe, I believe it's called, by Folk Art. I really love it. It's very rustic and it's perfect for fall. And then I'm going to take one of these clear stickers that has a thing, I can't remember what it says. I'm trying to read it. So Thankful. That's right. That's the one I used. But this sticker pack I've had like forever. And then I put a little hole in it so that I could wrap some twine on it. And now I'm going to take some of this pick that I had left over from the Dollar Tree. That's a piece of greenery for fall. And then I'm also going to use one of those little wooden sticks that you could get in a little bag at the Dollar Tree. And then also we're going to use these grapevine beaded garland, and I'm just going to wrap it around my pencil and make it like a little spiral. And I'm going to cut that off, and we're going to stick those on the top of our pumpkin with some Spanish moss. And we're just going to make it look really rustic. So first, I started stacking my pumpkins, and I'm just hot gluing them using plenty of hot glue. And I hold them down for a bit till they set, and then I did it with the next one on top, the smaller one. That's why we use 3 different circle templates to make our little pumpkins, all different sizes. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the Spanish moss that I've had in my stash as well, and I'm going to stick that in the center and glue it down, and then we're going to stick our little top to our pumpkins, our little stump on top, and then I'm going to wrap around the Spanish moss around the edges of that. And just be careful you don't burn your fingers, because that's what I was doing. I didn't put my little finger protectors on, so just be really careful. And then I'm just trimming off the excess so it looks a little bit neat, but not too neat, because I am going for that rustic feel. We're going to use some of those orange and red berries that you see right there. They get in a package from the Dollar Tree as well. And I am just going to go around every single layer of these pumpkins with some more of the Spanish moss. And I'm just going to glue it down around the edges, just so it sticks out a little bit in each layer, just to give it that more rustic, cute look. I just love this look. I love these pumpkins. I love this idea. I thought it was so much fun. So now I'm just going to take my twine that has my little tag on it, and I am going to tie that around the top in a knot. And then we're going to take some, and then I'm just going to cut off the excess, and there it is. And now we're just going to glue in our little picks that I took off of that one pick that I had, this little greenery, and they just look like little leaves, or I don't know, little leaves, I guess. And I'm just gonna stick those on each side, and I just glued them in. And now we're gonna take our little, these little berries that are so cute. Now I had these from last year. The pick I actually had from last year too, and the beaded garland. So I really didn't spend anything this year except for actually the fabric I had too. So I had everything. I have so much stuff left over that I have to use it up this year. I'm going to make sure that I do that. I will not spend more money on crafts until I use all this stuff up. And then I just stuck in my little spiral beaded garland that we put on there, and then some more of the little beads. And I just stuck them in between in some spots in between the layers that we made of the fabric, and I just stuck it around in different spots, and that was it. And there it is, you guys. Isn't he so cute? I love this one. You guys gotta let me know what you think in the comment section though. I would love to hear what you guys think. So today is all about under $5, and our guest host is Robin for Robin Buys and DIYs. And then I already told you Emily and Missy, and make sure you check out the playlist. I will have that linked down below as well. Go check everybody out. So next I'm going to take plaster paint and some more of that pipe, I forgot what it's called, Rusted Pipe by Folk Art. It's a really cool paint. And then I'm going to use one of these pumpkins, some of those picks you saw, and then some of these wall decal from the Dollar Tree. So now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trace my pumpkin out on the wall decal. Now I did this in a previous video with these wall decals, not wall decals, I should say wall tile with a snowman that I made. So I can have that link down below if you guys would like to check that out as well. And that came out so high end, so I just loved it. So once you cut that out and you trace it out, that sticky part comes off. So what I did is I painted the edges of the pumpkin with my plaster paint by Waverly chalk paint, and then I'm going to glue down my tile on top. The only reason I did that is because I wanted my edges to have that color, because we're going to paint the whole top of that tile with that plaster color as well. So I wanted to make sure all my edges and everything were the same. And then once I glue that down, and be careful because you do feel the hot glue with these tiles when you glue them down. So the next, I just went in and I did a quick coat of the plaster paint over the top. And I didn't do 2 coats. I only did 1 coat. It was only 1 coat was necessary, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to distress it all with that Rusted Pipe color by Folk Art. And I love this color because it makes everything look so rustic. So I'm like falling in love with this color for fall. And I just went around the edges with my brush and just kind of outlined the edges. And I'm just doing a dry brush. I don't want my paintbrush to be full of paint, so it's going to be very light. And then we're going to go over the whole top of it. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring out those edges that come up on the tile. It's going to bring them out even more. And it's going to make it look so rustic, so cool, you guys. I absolutely love this. This is my new favorite thing to do. And I saw Sammy do it on Unicorn Dust Designs, and that's when I did the snowman one. And then I was thinking, oh my God, I could do pumpkins. I could do so many things with these tiles. And they actually are coming out with more tiles now too at the Dollar Tree, which is super fun because then you get a different design all the time. So then I came in with this burlap. Now this burlap ribbon I've had like for 2 years now, but I will leave a link down below where you could get it on Amazon in case you're interested. And it does come with a package full of different ones. So they're all different and they're really cool. And I thought this looked really cool to go on the top of my pumpkin. And then what I did is I made a messy bow. So what I did is I just took a zip tie, I cut up a bunch of my scrap ribbon that I have left over from last year, and I'm just like doing an X. That's all it is. You're just making X's with all the ribbon, and then you're just going to tie it off in the middle with either a pipe cleaner or you use a zip tie. And then you just do it real tight, and then you just kind of like fluff them all out, and then you glue it where you want to put it. So next, I'm going to come in with some of these leaves. This was all in my stash, you guys, I swear. I have too much stuff. So I took out some of the leaves because we're going to be using those. But first, I wanted to glue down my messy bow. And I love the way the messy bow comes out. I love the messy bow, especially for fall and Christmas. I think it just looks so cool. And then I stuck one of these little acorns from a leftover pick that I had from like years ago. And I stuck that in the center to hide like that zip tie. And it had a little leaf on it, so I left that on there. And then I used one of these little acorns that was also on that little pick, and I glued that on as well in the center. And now I'm just going to take these leaves that I've had in my stash forever. I had burlap ones, so I stuck a couple of those down first, and they're really big. They have them this year too at the Dollar Tree, so if you guys want to pick them up, they have them in all different colors. At least mine does. And I stuck those on, and then I just stuck some of the other leaves and just kind of made like little clusters on each side, and I just put them where I liked them or where I thought they looked good. I just stuck a little glue on them and stuck them down. Really super simple, guys. This pumpkin came out so cute. I also used some Jenga blocks because I didn't want to hang mine, but you could hang yours. You could just stick a hanger on it in the back with some hot glue and string, or you can do what I did. You can use some Jenga blocks and you can just put them on the bottom portion of your pumpkin, and then it'll stand up on your, any shelf or anything that you want to put it on. So many different ways to use this one, and I absolutely love it. And there's that pick again. I used this pick for the whole video. For each one of these DIYs, I used that pick with the greenery on it. And it worked. I used all of it. It was perfect. So one pick got me 5 different DIYs. So there you go. More buck for your money, right? And then once I glued the picks down, then I think I'd use some of those berry picks that I had in my stash probably for 2 years of these berries that I got at Hobby Lobby. And I've had them forever, guys. And I just stuck those in. So yeah, go in your stash, and then you don't have to spend any money. I mean, I know it's under $5, which this was because I basically used a lot of things I've had for a couple years now. So I don't really count that because I've had it for so long. So I just was using everything I had in my stash. So if you have stuff in your stash, go get it out and just have fun with it and make something. There's so many great ideas out there. And then, like I said, I used a couple of my Jenga blocks and I wanted mine to stand up, so I just glued those to the back. I did 3 of them. I did 1 on each side of the bottom part and then 1 in the middle. And there it is, you guys. So let me know what you think about this one. I absolutely love that. I think it looks so high end. So now on to DIY number 3. Now for this DIY, so easy. I just took one of these fall signs last year from the Dollar Tree, a Hello Fall that comes in a pack of all these different ones that they had at the Dollar Tree from last year. This is all leftover stuff in my stash again. A scrapbook paper that I had in one of my many packs of scrapbook paper that I have. And all I'm going to do is I turn it around, and what I do is I try to line it up when you can't pop the backings out of these when you get them from the Dollar Tree. I just kind of do like an indentation if they're one with my finger, and then I just mark it with my pencil. And next I'm just going to go in with some of the truffle from Waverly, and I am going to paint the inside edges of this plaque and the outside edges. And then we're going to stick in that scrapbook paper. But first I'm going to color this with a Barn Red, I believe it is, by Apple Barrel. And I'm just going to color it. I'm just going to paint it with that color. And I love this color. It's so pretty. I think that's the color, or it could be Tuscan Red. I can't remember, you guys, but I'll find out and I'll make sure I list it down below. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of that plaster chalk paint, and I am going to use my little stencil brush, and I'm going to go along the edges, and I'm just going to do a dry brush on the inner edges, on the outer edges, and then along all the sides and inside, just to give it a little bit of that rustic look so everything kind of goes together that I'm creating today. And then I'm just going to do a really light dry brush. Super easy. And then we're going to stick the paper in, and we're going to use that little truck that you saw. Those are the little minis, fairy garden, I believe, there at the Dollar Tree that you pick up. I got like so much of them last year. I had a ton left over, so that's what I'm using. But they do have them out this year too, so you'll definitely be able to get them, find them. And then I'm just going to use my glue stick to stick down my scrapbook paper that I'm using, because it's a heavy-duty scrapbook paper, and I didn't feel the need to use Mod Podge. And then I'm going to take those little 2 hay, and you got those last year they had them. They have them this year again, the little 2 stacks of hay in a package, and I think you get like 6 or 8, I can't remember. And I've had these left over too. I bought too many last year. I don't know what I was thinking when I went shopping last year, but I went a little overboard. So thank God this year I don't have to worry, and I have a lot to play with. And then I'm just making like a little cute pumpkin farm type of looking scene in the inside of these plaques. Are so versatile. You could do so many things with them. You can even do Christmas with them too. And then I have these little round pop dots that I've like had forever, and I used those to raise up my Hello Fall sign. So that's all those are. And you can usually find those at the Dollar Tree as well. And then I just stuck it down. And that's it. Super simple, guys. This one was very simple. And I absolutely love the way it turned out. Let me know what you guys think in the description box. In the comment section down below. So now on to DIY number 4. This one was so much fun too. I'm going to use some plaster again, Waverly chalk paint, 3 of these clippings from these calendars from last year, and yeah, they're all from last year actually. I used 3 different ones, and actually one is from 2 years ago. So if you have these calendars, don't get rid of them. Use those little ones in the back because they're so cute. And I'm going to use 3 of those cubes from the Dollar Tree wooden cubes, and then some of these, all the stuff I had in my stash again. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to paint all of my cubes with the plaster paint by Waverly chalk paint, and I paint all of the sides. And then once I get those all paint, we're going to come in with that rusted pipe again, color by Folk Art, and I'm going to use my stencil brush, and I'm just going to do a dry brush on all 3 cubes. And I'm going to do all the edges first, and then I go over the whole thing with a very dry brush. And these came out so cute too. I love all of these. And I do a lot of craft shows and I make a lot of wreaths, if you guys didn't know from the beginning. My intro, I have an Etsy shop and I absolutely love fall and Christmas to make this type of decor because people love it, just like I do, and I love making it. So I hope you guys like it. And I'm just going in real nice and easy and light with my stencil brush. And I do show you this one, but I don't show you all of them because we would be here for a very long time. And then after I get done dry brushing those, I'm going to take my Mod Podge and I'm just going to glue down those 3 clippings from the calendars. And I'm just going to put them like centered in each cube. And then we're going to stack them, you guys. And these are perfect. All 3 are fall clippings and they're all from the big calendars. And so these little ones you can use for DIYs too. And I love doing this with them. I don't throw anything out. Which some stuff I really should because I never end up using it again. But like this stuff, I know I'm going to use it. So, and then I went over the top of it as well with the Mod Podge as well, just to make sure everything's sealed. And so and the matte Mod Podge kind of like tones down like that shininess of the calendar pieces. So that's why I like to do that as well. And then this is how I'm going to stack them. I know you can't see them in the front, but you will in a minute. And then I'm just going to glue them down to each other. And I'm using Gorilla Hot Glue. It's the wood glue one. And I love using it because nothing ever comes apart. And it works really, really well. So those are the glue sticks that I'm using. And then once I get them all stacked, I'm also going to come in with all those leaves and the pumpkins and stuff, and we're going to put them on each one of the layers here. So now I'm using one of these styrofoam ones that you get at the Dollar Tree. I think they came in like a pack of 3 last year, and I think they are this year too. And I'm just going to cut a piece off on this side because what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it down like it's kind of like laying down forward like that. And then I'm going to use one of those little hay barrel, I want to say, oh my gosh, haystacks. And then I'm going to use one of these leftover picks again from who knows how many years ago. And I'm going to use some of the ones from the Dollar Tree as well, different leaves because they're different colors and things. And I'm going to use one on top, one on the side sticking out there. And I'm just going to glue everything down. I'm going to use some Spanish moss and a couple of those little pumpkins that you got in a pack last year, I believe from the Dollar Tree as well. And I'm just going to glue everything down. So I'm just going to glue down my Spanish moss on the top one, and then that big pumpkin laying on its side, and that little thing of hay, and that leaf. And I'm just going to make it look really, fall. And I love doing these type of things because they're so much fun. I mean, I had so much fun making all of these. And they were so cheap to make, you guys. So cheap. I mean, even if you had to go out and buy this stuff, if you didn't have it in your stash like I did, it's still going to not be expensive. I mean, it's still going to be under that mark. So you guys can make so many great things. And then I took one of these little cluster of berries that was on the pick, and I just kind of clipped little pieces off and then glued them down on each little section of my cubes. So I'm kind of just making like a fall scene here with stacked blocks. Super easy. And then I decided to use a bigger one. And I glued that piece down. And then we're going to glue down those pumpkins too. And when I turn it around, see? I know it goes really fast, but you'll see the whole thing in a minute. And then I'm just going to glue down the little pumpkins. I had a smaller one and then a little bit of a bigger one. And I glued those down as well on each one of the little edges. So I kind of glue them a little bit further back so that I can glue things onto the edges in the front, and that's how I kind of stack them. So there it is, you guys. Look how cute this is. I love it. I don't know. I just love it. I hope you guys like it too. Here it is. Let me know what you guys think. Now on to DIY number 5, last and final one, guys. So this one's super easy too. I took one of these leaves from the Dollar Tree, wooden leaves, and some of these picks again, same picks I've been using throughout my video, and one of my scrap book pages that I had, and some of those leftover ribbons that I had. So the first thing we're gonna do is I am going to trace out this leaf. Now this leaf is shiplap, so I want to look shiplap still. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my really thin mechanical pencil and I'm going in between the shiplap so I know where to cut when I cut my paper, because I want you to see the shiplap in between. I want it to look that way. I want it to be rustic. So that is what I'm going for here, and that's why you see me tracing in between as well. And if you use these thin pencils, mechanical pencils from the Dollar Tree, they work really, really well to get in between things. And then all I'm doing is I'm using my little cutter, my little yeah, it's a cutter. And I am cutting out my leaf. And I'm just cutting those strips in between what I did with the pencil. And I'm using this because I want it to be exact. And this way I'm cutting right on the line. It's not crooked and all that neat stuff. So this just makes it much simpler. So if you ever see these, pick them up. I know Tuesday Morning used to carry them. I'm not sure if they still do. And they were really cheap. And I think that's where I got mine. I didn't actually get mine at at Hobby Lobby or anything like that, but yeah. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to go in with this paint. This is, I believe it's amber, I can't remember, but it's like a brown, really rich, it's brown and red mixed together basically, but it has a tint of red in it, but it's like that burnt red color. And it's super, super pretty. I love this color for fall. I think it's burnt umber. And I will have it listed down below what I used. And now I'm just going to use my Mod Podge. What I used that for is I wanted to get in between the edges of the shiplap with that color. And I also wanted to get around the edges of my leaf as well. And I also painted the back as well. So that's why I did that. And then I'm just going to stick each one of these papers down with the Mod Podge. And I really like to use thick scrapbooking paper because it doesn't bubble with the Mod Podge. I noticed that, and it works really well. So just a little tip for you guys. If you get thick scrapbooking paper, it works out the best. And then I went over the top as well because I don't want it to peel up or rip off. I want to make sure everything's all nice and sealed in, and I don't have to worry about that happening. And I am making sure I get in between the cracks as well of the shiplap. And then what I'm going to do is I did sand it once it's all dry. I sanded around the edges, but I didn't show that. And now I'm going to come in with that same color, that rusted pipe color from Folker, and I'm going to go around the edges and in between each one of those shiplap pieces, okay, to make it look rustic and rusty, because that's what I wanted it to look. And I went in between each one of them. And I also used my little nail filer, like that you could get from the Dollar Tree. I picked them up, I believe. And you just can go in between each one of those shiplaps too with your nail file. And it'll get, sand it for you too that way. And what I'm doing is I'm getting in between the shiplap, but I'm also, if I get a little too much, all I do is wipe it with my baby wipe, and it kind of gets a little bit of it off. And then I went over the whole thing, very dry brush, went over the whole thing. And if I did a little too much, I just wiped it with my baby wipe. And there it is. And now we're going to take that same burlap ribbon that I've been using, and I am going to wrap that around the stem of my maple leaf as well. And I just think that it looks really cool, the design on it and the way it goes around. It just reminds me of the lines that you would see like in the stem of something. So I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I like it. So that's what I used. And now we're just going to make same thing like we did with the pumpkin. I'm just going to use some leftover picks that I have, and I'm going to make like a little bow I stuck on there, you see there, with some of the ribbon. All I did was make loops and glue them down to the leaf. And now I'm going to just take some leaves and stick them in between my bows and glue them down. And that's it. And then I'm going to glue down some berries too that you see there. And I'm just making like a little, cluster of leaves and some of the Oh my gosh. And some of the berries, and I'm just sticking them all in, and I'm just making a little cute cluster on the top of my leaf. And I think this came out so pretty. I just love it. So I stuck in different colors, all the different colors for fall. And yeah, I mean, but you could put a messy bow on this. You don't have to do loops like I did. And then I'm also, here I come again with that pick with the greenery on it from Dollar Tree. See, I kept using it. I think I even have some left over too. So there you go. It went a long way, guys. I used a lot. And definitely got worth my money's worth, right? And I still got some left. And then I just took those in on each side. And I just like did it until and then I think I also used from the leftover pick that had the little acorn on it. I took that pick and I only had like these little berries on it, and I used another one of the acorns that was on it, and I used the berry garland that's on it, and I'm going to wrap that around my pencil again and make those little corkscrew looking things, and we're going to stick those on here as well. See, that's all I did, and then I just glued them in. I just stuck them in, put a little dot of glue, make sure they stayed, and that was it. And then I did the other one on the other side. And this is a great way. You just use your pencil and twist it around, and then it slides right off, and then you just stick them right in. Super easy, guys. So easy. These are so inexpensive, yet look so high-end, and I absolutely love them. So I hope you guys like them too. Don't forget to check everyone out in the playlist, you guys. Show them some love. Tell them I sent you. Oh, yeah, and then I also used the same berry pick as well. And I stuck a couple berries on there too. So, yeah, check everyone out. And, yeah, don't forget to check out the host and the co-host as well. And I really want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to comment, leave me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. I would love to guys have you. Welcome you to our little club here on YouTube. And I want to thank you guys for watching. And remember, stay crafty. Bye.